There goes. All right.
It's like do I need to stand on a step stool? Yeah.
Oh, we got a thumbs up. I think that means we're live. That was really fast.
Okay.
Hey, Craig.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, man.
We've got Craig Hassel with Fun, Billiards, and Game Room Superstore.
Yep.
That's quite the name.
It's a long name, yes. Yeah.
What did Fun start as? Was Fun did you start with pool tables, or how'd you jump into this?
Well, it was actually originally called Fun Company, and we had arcades in the Metroplex. Okay. Sold off the arcades, and then ended up starting off buying, there was in the 90s, a lot of people getting container games, wholesaling. We were doing that out of a warehouse. Didn't really have a store. We weren't a distributor for any of the pinball manufacturers yet. And then eventually in the early 2000s came on board with being a Stern distributor.
Okay.
And then had a real, from it being a warehouse, going to a showroom, a freestanding building showroom store. Now we sell everything for your game room.
And that has been a market that has just exploded in the last 20 years, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. And even more so since COVID. COVID's made it nuts.
Yeah, we'll jump into that. How big is your store? You have a very impressive showroom. Where is it? How big is it?
Our store is in Mesquite, Texas. It's about a 5,000 square foot showroom. It's 2 floors, so there's 2 floors of showroom. Kind of the main floor is where most of the stuff that's ready to go is. I call upstairs kind of triage. The pinball, because we sell used pinballs too.
Yeah.
So kind of the ones that aren't quite ready to come down on the showroom floor, still need a little love, something's wrong with them, and the new pool table's up there. But we're in Mesquite, it's open to the public.
Come play, come buy, come buy something and play if you buy, no, stay. So let's talk about the last year, right? COVID was a big thing for the pinball industry. I'm sure you were nervous. We were very nervous. Like, what is this going to do for our business? Is it going to drop off, or what's going to happen? And it turned out to be a boom.
Yes, it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, it was right there approaching Texas Pinball Festival 2020. The world's shutting down. Nobody knew what was going to happen. They shut everything down. We had the store closed. We probably weren't supposed to be open. I had the store line forwarded to my cell phone. If somebody wanted to buy something, I said, hey, we'll meet you masks on. We're not doing deliveries. It's not window shopping. You've got to kind of know what you want and get out. And it slowed down for just a little bit in April, and then it started going crazy because now people are stuck home. Now they want something to play. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And it kept going. It almost, as I joke about it, because my friends will say, like, how's it going at work? I go, it's like the month of December that has not stopped.
It's Christmas season forever.
Yeah, forever, yeah.
So you said you became a Stern dealer in the early 2000s. You also sell Chicago Gaming,
Jersey Jack, American Pinball, and then stuff beside pinball machines. Incredible Technologies, Golden Tee, Valley Dynamo pool tables, Mandy Namco, Pac-Mans.
Those are great.
Yeah.
When I worked, the distributor I worked for a few years ago, the Pac-Man, the multi-cade with the refrigerator inside, that was a hot seller. We sold a lot of those.
Chill, the Pixel Bash Chill.
That's it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever. How many people do you employ?
We've got 11 of us.
Okay.
Yeah. Quite a team. Everybody's diverse. Everybody has their specialties of what they do. I've got guys that all they do is they're doing deliveries, or they do a lot of the cosmetic restoration.
Okay.
And all of them have their own special skill. One is real good at doing cabinet decals. One's our pool table guy. One of them just a master at doing touch-up work, so they're all great.
That's what's been fun talking about. I mean, there's a lot of arcades in Texas, and I mean, you might be the largest distributor of game room paraphernalia in the state. Yes, no?
I think we're kind of even with Joysticks, who's down here in Houston.
Yep.
So
the amount of people that are employed in either the arcades, pinball, amusement industry in Texas is pretty amazing. There's a lot of y'all.
Oh yeah.
So you also sell used games. Do people just, hey, I've got the oldest game I have is Medieval Madness, and I really, really want Avengers. Do you do trade-ins and stuff like that?
All the time.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. We do trade, and I love getting trade-ins because, oh my gosh, right now, I can't get games ready fast enough. I mean, literally, we had one part of our showroom, I probably had 30 pinballs in it of pre-owned games. There's 3. It's bare.
You don't have like a warehouse somewhere where you're pulling the dregs of games out now?
Actually, we have in the warehouse over 100 pinballs in the back that we're slowly working on, and we're still buying and selling. But literally, it's like no sooner we put one on the floor,
it's gone.
Somebody, I mean, stuff I haven't even got on the floor yet. It's crazy right now. Yeah.
What's your favorite game of the year? Let's talk in the Stern universe, because we've got a couple good games in the last 12 months.
Yes.
What's your favorite release?
In the last 12 months.
Or what has sold well? What have customers appreciated?
Well, I mean, Godzilla's selling well. Mandalorian's selling well. Getting them, that's the tough thing right now, you know?
Yeah. You'd sell a whole lot more if you actually had them, right?
Yes, yes. But so far Godzilla seems to have knocked it out of the park. Everybody loves it.
It's incredible. All 10 of these things have just been full all week And last week when we were in Milwaukee, we had 25 Godzillas, I think, and it was non-stop. Incredible.
I'm still trying, when a game's so new to me, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just shoot the blinky lights, so I'm trying to figure it out. And I really like the insider connected thing. I'm trying to figure that out. It looks to me like it's just on the cusp of what all it could do, probably. I just don't fully understand it like a lot of people.
I spoke with George Gomez a couple weeks ago for a few hours, and the things they intend to release is massive. It's going to be, there's a lot to it. I'm really excited too.
Well, what I think, and I saw some other shows, probably the one you're talking about, or Expo. I don't see one here, but I think it'd be awesome if there was, because it would probably get more people to sign up, a leaderboard showing how everybody's doing on Godzilla,
Yeah, that was iffy if it was going to come and it didn't show up, but the leaderboards were really fun. It made me happy to have a high score on Deadpool for maybe 26 hours before someone blew it out of the park. But,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Before we part, personal game room. Do you have a personal collection at home? Things you like to play?
I do. My game room's kind of gotten smaller because it's kind of like the store's my game room in a roundabout way.
Yeah, why have stuff at home when you got it at the office, right?
Yeah, and I find doing it full time, it's hard to be motivated to go work on something when you've done it 8 to 5, 40 hours a week,
Yes, I suffered through that as well.
But I do have some stuff that's, my personal, my boys, they love. I got another one, and it's not even a pinball. They love the Guitar Hero arcade game. So all their friends come over and play it.
That's my dream. I've always wanted one of those.
Oh yeah. And we've got Baby Pac-Man. My son loves that. He's got the whole leaderboard. I can't even get close to his score. A Tron, an old Bally Playboy. That's kind of what I got right now in the house. It rotates through,
Yeah, because you can bring things from the showroom back home.
Well, what I do a lot of times is I do bring a new game home for a little while to play it. It helps sell it when you can explain to a customer what you're supposed to do on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess pretty soon you'll have to bring a Godzilla home, right?
When they become available.
Craig, it was really nice talking with you.
Yeah, it was great.
Have a good rest of the show.
Oh yeah, and we'll see you at Texas Pinball Festival.
Just a few months away.
I know. It'll be great. Awesome.
The general rule of thumb is to always shoot for the flashing lights, but you'll have more fun and play with more intention if you actually know what those flashing lights are for. The relentless barrage of sounds. Listen carefully. Your game is trying to tell you something. Sounds provide clues that you've started a mode, changed modes, or even earned rewards. Listen for changes in music, dialogue, or sound effects. They give you a heads up that something in the game has changed. Some games provide callouts, which are sometimes specific instructions the game gives you when you activate different modes or features. They announce the game mode that has been activated and tell you what objectives you should be shooting for. Keep an eye on the back box display as well for additional hints. Learning basic pinball vocabulary helps too. Here's a quick overview of some of the basics. You have your plunger or ball shooter, the pop bumpers or jet bumpers called thumper bumpers, the slingshots and kickers, out lanes and in lanes, an orbit, a shot that allows the ball to travel the outer perimeter of the game, a ramp, a ball scoop, a spinner, stand-up targets, drop targets, and rollover targets. You can drop catch and live catch, tap pass or post pass, or even dead flip, and so many more. The more you know, the savvier player you'll be. The most important rule of pinball is, don't let the ball drain. This is where the most skilled players have a trick, the nudge. The nudge is a bit like salt. A little makes a dish delicious, and too much ruins it. When you think the ball is going to drain down one of the out lanes or down the middle into the out hole, and you can't use the flippers to save it, you can nudge the game slightly with your hands like this. Now you're on your way to being a true pinball pro. Keep on practicing. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping.
Project Pinball helps rehabilitation.
For a kid that's in a hospital, you're playing a pinball machine, and for the time being, you don't have to really think about where you are or what you're doing. You're focused solely on playing pinball.
You know, pinball can be fun, but it can also be therapeutic because slamming that ball around when you're angry sure does make you feel a little bit better.
You know what, one thing I like about it, it makes them move. Laps around the wards is replaced to a lap down to the pinball machine and standing for an hour.
They have to use both hands. You kind of find yourself when you're playing pinball moving into it to play.
And so the kids can come in here, number one, stand, the ones that are having that issue, but they can still hold on, so they get that strengthening. And then they're using both hands and eye and watching. So it's going to be a great non-therapy therapy. And having a good time.
Pinball's great because it's lights, it's sounds, and you're so focused on getting that ball and hitting that target and getting those points that you're really not thinking about why you're in the hospital. You're able to distract your time away a little bit.
Pinball is a way to get your mind for the moment off of whatever is happening in your personal life. Even if it is a bad situation, having to be in a hospital, seeing a pinball machine can make it all better.
I just want to give back any way that I can. And my passion for pinball, I think, was a great partner for, this giving.
we're going to talk about our flipper rebuild kits that we put together here at Marco. These kits, we have them for a wide variety of games, and they are set up for different eras, right? So like the ones we dealt with on roller games many, many months ago, that one has different interstroke switches. It has different flipper cranks links to use the compression spring as opposed to the expansion spring like these kits do. We have these for old Bally games, older Williams games, some Gottlieb games even. So this kit would be a simple kit for a game that only uses 2 flippers. This kit, the Woofaltron Kit, it's a left and a right flipper crank and link. You've got 2 coil stops, 2 coil sleeves. You've got an assortment of hardware just in case, which is very common to have pieces of hardware missing from your flipper base. Maybe you have a sheared off and broken coil stop screw, a 1032 cap nut. So we include all of these things, a couple 632 1/4-inch screws to replace your coil retaining brackets. You've got a handy dandy flipper space gauge as well as 2 interstroke switches. And again, this is for a Fliptronic game. Handy, all in one bag, keeps it easy. If you own a funhouse, you probably know what this is. A ball goes in, nestles in that half-moon cutout, and then this thing rotates and allows the balls to escape. The original assembly from Williams, 3-piece ball cam and lock, right? Sorry, the shaft that would be pinned to the collar, right? And then you had this disc that was then swaged on top. So it was basically the metal came up and it was pushed over, whatever. We had these reassembled, remanufactured, where the wear item, which is the disc, can be replaced. This collar is now threaded. This screw protrudes maybe 1 millimeter, almost 2 millimeters higher than it would be from the factory, but it shouldn't be a problem because there is plenty of space. So you've essentially got a rebuildable unit now, which is nice. These things are very commonly blown out on one side, or this disc becomes loose in the collar. So anyways, you can get these now. It is a 2-piece cup holder with a base that will mount to the leg of your pinball machine, and a cup that holder that could be moved from game to game. There are 2 big Phillips head screws that can attach this thing down if you want to keep it in place, but I think the neat, innovative bit of this system is the fact that the base of the cup holder is detachable from the leg itself. So say you have a lot of pinball machines, and you have 5 friends and you have 10 games, you could buy base plates for all your games and have a cup holder for people to bring their beverage with them from game to game. It's pretty innovative. It's pretty rad. It's large. It has cutouts for a coffee mug or a high-handled coffee mug. So you should be able to fit most size cups in here. I could fit this seltzer water cup quite nicely. This is something that I will definitely be using on the couple games that I have at home, so I can stop putting my cups of beer on the game itself. The mounts are universal, so you could either mount them this way, right, with the cup holder facing away from you, or it could be mounted the other way if you wanted it in front. You could mount it to the front, so you know, I guess in some arcades this is probably a better way to do it because you have more, less side-to-side room and a little more front room. The neat thing about this product is too, though, is you can purchase it with a totally flat cup holder piece as well. So this is not ideal for mounting to like a pinball leg per se, but if you had a video game or something that does not have legs, you could mount it flat up against the coin door using the carriage bolts that attach that thing. Obviously, you wouldn't want to put it right under the start button, but it is a pretty lovely universal product. I definitely think the removability is the neatest thing to me. I've operated games in breweries and in bars for a long time, and these things get disgusting. So it is nice to be able to take them off, put them in the wash, and then put them back in the game. There are spots in this cup holder too that will allow you to drill drainage holes. If you're using these at home and you don't want condensation or beer dripping all over your nice floors, you don't need holes. But if you wanted to put holes in them like I would, there is provisions to do so inside. So very versatile. That's what I like about this product. Maybe some of you have a late model Williams game and you're playing it and you're like hitting both the flippers and then the thing just turns off. And you're like, what the hell? And then you boot it, it comes back on. You're like, okay, let's play again. And it keeps doing it over and over again. That is a dreaded problem, a very common problem. And before it took a bit of troubleshooting and a bit of work to get it to work, but the fine folks at Car Circuits have come up with this awesome little, we'll call it a daughter board, which will kind of solve, it's kind of a Band-Aid, but it also could be a permanent solution for that issue. We can go over to my Twilight zone and we can kind of talk about it for a second, and then I can show you how to install it and how it works. So that problem stems from your big driver board here. This thing is overtaxed. It has one regulator that runs the 5 volts that goes to every other board in this, the contraption that is the pinball machine. And what happens is you do get a bunch of resistance that builds up, and again, 30 years later, right, you will need to start changing components and rebuilding things to make sure that 5 volts is strong enough to run your computer. What this device does is it intercepts the 12 volts, which also runs to the computer, and it has its own 5-volt regulator. So what it will do is it will ignore the 5 volts that's being sent from the driver board to the computer, take the 12 volts that is coming from the driver board, which is a rather strong circuit, make its own 5 volts to run the computer. If you were to want to fix something like this, you would do a lot of removal of boards and changing of components, and it turns into a lot of work. This, it's as simple as unplugging your power connector to the computer, plugging the daughter board into that connector, and then reapplying the power to the daughter board. You fire the game up, and you will have a stable, solid 5 volts running to your computer for some time. It's easy.
And I said,
wow, Flipstream just gifted a tier 1 sub from Marco Pinball.
Flipstream with the flex. This one's for you, baby. And
well, my name is Manuel, and I'm here to say I'm rocking to the beat almost every day. I got real big. I'm never small, because I do all my shopping at Marco Pinball. Hit it! What?
Here's a pin tip for you. Never walk away from the game until you're sure your ball is over. If you drain pretty quickly, you might get a pity ball called a ball save. Or you could have earned an extra ball. So wait until the bonus screen pops up because then you'll know your ball is over and the next player is up. Go for it. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. So you have your own game, you're playing it all the time, your family and friends are playing it, the cat sits on it, somebody spills a drink. It's going to get dirty. What do? Well, in this video, we'll cover the basics of cleaning your game. This is a quick cleaning guide, so surfaces only. We won't be removing any game components or taking things apart. So grab some rags. As a general rule, you should clean your game when it starts to look dirty. Grease and dirt around the flipper buttons, fingerprints on the glass, that mysterious sticky spot on the cabinet. Maybe there's even a nice dark trail where the ball travels on the playfield. It needs to be cleaned. So it's very important to note that how you clean your pinball machines depends on the age and condition of your game. Let's start with the Playfield Glass. Unless your game has upgraded low reflective glass, in which case you should check the manufacturer's instructions, all you need to do is give it a squirt of glass cleaner whenever it gets dirty. Wipe it dry with a microfiber cloth or even just use an old t-shirt. Next up, the playfield. The first step, after you remove the glass, is to determine the age and condition of your game, especially if you bought it used. Do you see bare wood or flaking paint? If so, clean with extreme care, or better yet, leave it alone. You don't want to make it worse. If your playfield is in good shape, no matter its age, we recommend using Novus products. Novus 1 can be used on the entire playfield, and Novus 2 is better for those high traffic areas of the playfield as well as the plastic ramps. Please remember that Novus is an abrasive product, so for best results, use these products sparingly with a microfiber cloth. Does your playfield have Mylar? You can still use Novus 1 to wipe it, just be careful around the edges. Also, don't use any solvent-based cleaners which can dissolve the Mylar. While you've got the glass off, take a quick look at the pinballs. Balls don't get very dirty, but it can't hurt to give them a wipe when you clean your game. Replace those balls if they're scratched, rusty, or beginning to look dull. And finally, the cabinet. We have 2 words, be careful. Cabinet art is easily destroyed, and it's best to spot clean and only when absolutely necessary. Use a soft cloth, lightly dampened with Novus 2, and test a small section first. It's best to not use water because some paints are water soluble. Flipper buttons, start buttons, ball shooters, and coin doors are all pretty sturdy and can be wiped down with a damp cloth. Remember, clean games are happy games. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. Hey everyone, welcome to Marco Pinball's PinTech series. You know, pinball is most enjoyable when you actually have the confidence to take care of your own games. If this is your first time owning a pinball machine, then this is the series for you. In Module 1, Pinball Basics, we'll cover setting up your game to basic gameplay, care, and maintenance. Congratulations, you got yourself a pinball machine. Now, all you have to do is set it up. Alright, that's heavy. In an ideal situation, you'll have a friend. Luckily for me, I have Crystal and Kyle with me today. Thank you. You'll also need the following items: a wrench or socket wrench to install the 8 leg bolts. The bolts to most games are usually 9/16 to 5/8 inch. A way to support the game while you install the back legs. We're using an old stool. Anything sturdy will do as long as it's high enough to keep the back legs off the floor while you're attaching them. The bolts for securing the head. Whether you bought your game new or used, you should have bolts for the head. Before you begin, make sure the back box, or head, is folded down and secured to the game with a packing strap, so when you lift the game, it doesn't get damaged. If the back box of your game is completely detached already, just leave it to the side for now. Attach the front legs to the game using the leg bolts and wrench. The bolts should be pretty snug, but don't over tighten. Make sure each leg has a leg leveler and the jam nuts are screwed in below the leg. If your leg levelers are in bad shape like this, you'll want to go ahead and replace them. It's a quick fix and you won't regret it. Now you can pivot the game down and rest it on the front legs. Grab the rear legs and unscrew the rear leg levelers an inch or two. This is a good starting point for the pitch for most games. Have the legs and bolts with an easy reach on both sides of the machine. Now you will need to prop the game up onto the front legs. Preferably with a helper, lift the back end of the game up and rest it on the stool. Attach the back legs with the bolts, remove the stool, and set it on the floor. Again, the leg bolts should be pretty snug, but don't over tighten. Remove the strap that secured the back box of the game. Carefully lift the head up, making sure the wires tuck into the body of the game as the head goes up without getting pinched. Unlock the back box, then remove the back glass by lifting up the glass and pulling it out carefully. Now, you can attach the bolts that lock the head into an upright position. Put the game close to its final location, leaving enough room to access the back of the game. If your game is on carpet, you can use furniture sliders to make it easier to move. Sometimes, you may have a game with the head completely detached. If that's the case, here's how to properly attach the back box to your game. Reach into the lower cabinet and route the AC power cord to the outside. There's usually a notch for the power cord to nest in. Remove the back glass from the back box carefully before attaching it to the lower cabinet and place it somewhere safe. Lift the back box up and set it in place. Reach inside the game and take out the wiring harness that connects the head to the body. Open the insert panel and hold the head in position while fastening the head to the cabinet. Take each connector and plug them into the respective board. Generally, connectors are keyed and will only fit in one way in one place. Don't ever try to force in the connectors. If you are unsure about where something goes, check your manual. And that's it. Well, almost. There's no balls in the game, and it's probably a little crooked. We'll tackle those issues in the next section. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. Here's this awesome Twilight Zone, almost ready to play, but first we have a few more things to do. One of them is cleaning these balls. Brand new balls can have excess oil on them, so if your game is new, it's a good idea to wipe down the balls before you use them. First, open the coin door with the key that came with your game. Depending on the age of your game, you should see 1 or 2 latches holding the lockdown bar in place. Unlatch them and remove the lockdown bar by lifting it up and out. Newer Stern games have 2 latches on the back side of the front panel, 1 on each side of the coin door opening. Be careful because they will spring open quickly. Close the coin door so you don't hit or scratch the glass with it. Carefully slide the Playfield Glass all the way out using just your palms to avoid getting fingerprints all over it. The glass is tempered, so nicking the edge of the glass can cause it to explode, so be careful. Placing the glass on a solid surface where the temperature change could be too extreme, for example, really warm glass setting down on a freezing basement floor, that can also cause the glass to shatter. So again, be careful with your glass. The safest method is to protect the top and bottom edges of the glass with a towel, or even a cut-up pool noodle, and then lean it carefully against a wall. Depending on the game, there are 2 main ways to access the underside of the playfield. In some games, you just simply tilt the playfield straight up so it leans against the head. Otherwise, you may need to pull the playfield out slightly towards you before you tilt it up. Some older games may also have a prop of some kind that you can rest the playfield on. Be careful. Watch where your fingers are when raising and lowering the playfield. Also, avoid bumping the playfield when it's in the upright position because it can slam down unexpectedly. Remove any packing material in the game or on the playfield. Sometimes, older games even have hidden treasures inside of them. The next step will be to install the tilt mechanism or plumb bob if it hasn't already been installed. It's usually located inside the cabinet on the left side. Check your manual for specific installation details. Move the plumb bob up or down to adjust the sensitivity. If the tilt is too tight, then the plumb bob will swing and touch the ring at the slightest bump. This will trigger a tilt message and the ball in play will end. It's more fun to shake it and not break it. You can test how sensitive the tilt mechanism is by shaking the game when you play. Now, lower the playfield and install the balls. Just put them on the playfield and let them go. They'll drop down between the flippers into the ball trough. If the game is older and the balls are worn or dented, you probably want to order some new ones. They'll look and play a lot better, and they won't scratch your playfield. Many games have a small level attached to the lower right side of the playfield. This level indicates the pitch of the game from back to front. Use a small bubble level or angle finder tool to measure the slope. Many smartphones now have an angle measuring app built in. Be sure to place your level directly on the playfield and not on top of the playfield glass. Most electronic pinball machines are designed to have a 6.5 degree slope. If you want the game to play faster, increase the pitch on the back legs by screwing in the rear leg levelers in or out. You will also need to level your game to 0 degrees from left to right by placing the level parallel to the front of the game. Adjust the leg levelers until the readings on both levels are satisfactory. Finally, slide in the playfield glass back in, replace the lockdown bar, and secure it in place with the latch. Plug in your game and power it up. And in the next section, we'll tackle how to adjust some common game settings. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. Here's a pin tip for you, where to keep your keys. Well, most games have a small wire hook on the back side of the coin door for your back box keys. If you don't have this hook, you can buy it on our website, but now you'll never lose your back box keys. But that won't do you much good if you lose your coin door key. Make sure you keep this in a safe place, and if you have multiple games, label your keys. If you don't want to deal with keys, you can always replace your coin door key with a keyless lock. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. And now, that moment we've all been waiting for, let's power it up. On most games, the power switch is located underneath the front of the game on the right. However, newer Stern games have a switch at the bottom right of the head. If your game won't power on, double check that the power cord is not damaged and it's plugged into a working outlet. If the game powers on but doesn't do anything, that's a whole nother can of worms, all of which are beyond the scope of this video. Sorry. But for now, we're going to assume your game is working fine, and once the game is powered up, you can check a few basic settings. Who are we kidding? Go ahead and play a few games first. We'll wait. All game settings are accessed through the coin door. Inside the coin door, you should see several buttons, either on the coin door itself or just inside the cabinet. These are service and diagnostic switches, and the functions and menu layouts may vary between manufacturers. But with any luck, the buttons will be labeled. Generally, one or two buttons will be for volume, one is to access the menu system, and another to escape that menu system or add credits. Use the volume buttons to increase or decrease the sound volume to your liking. If you have an older game and don't see volume buttons, look for a knob of some kind inside the cabinet. Another setting you may want to adjust is whether your game requires coins. Typically, a new game is set so you have to insert coins in order to play. But if you don't want your game to be a piggy bank, you can always change the game settings to free play. The settings for changing a game to free play will be buried somewhere in the menu system. We hate to sound like a broken record, but if you don't have a manual for your game, you really need to get one. There's a good chance that the manual will show the structure of the menu items so you know where to go. Here's how to change Twilight Zone to free play. And keep in mind, your game will most likely be a little different. Push the menu button, scroll through the menu systems to find the adjustment settings, and scroll to pricing adjustments. Look for the free play setting here. Hit enter to make your selection. When you're finished changing the settings in the menu system, hit the escape button to get back to normal gameplay. Now, it's time to close up that coin door and press start. To add another player, press start again. Most games allow up to 4 players, and the display on the back box shows you whose turn it is. This is player 1, player 2, player 3, and player 4. The active players' scores will either be flashing, highlighted, or bigger on the screen. The menu system is full of so many more features like switch and light tests and various gameplay options, but before we get into those, let's just play already. Stick around for our next section to learn some basic gameplay tips. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping! Here's another pin tip for you. Humidity and extreme temperature changers are the killers of pinball machines. Always operate and store your pinball machines in a climate-controlled location. You know, they are designed for indoor use only, so no porch, patio, park, picnic, portico, parking lot, plaza, pavilion, playgrounds. Please, your pinball machines will thank you. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping! You've seen them, haven't you? Those pinball players with the impossibly high scores who seem to know exactly what they're doing every time they're taking a shot. Maybe you think there's no way you could ever do that. But sure you could. You need a lot of practice, but playing pinball is a skill and anyone can learn how. So in this video, we'll walk you through how to approach a game of pinball, whether it's your first time ever playing or you're just trying a new game. These tips will get you feeling comfortable with any new game you play. The first interaction you'll have with most pinball games is the skill shot, a particular target you aim for using the ball shooter. Once you've hit start, look for areas of the playfield that are flashing. The skill shot may be one of those flashing areas, or sometimes it's even more hidden. When you hit the skill shot, the game will tell you and you'll get a reward. With the ball in play, you control it using the flippers, of course. One button on either side of the cabinet for each flipper. Some games have an extra button or two. Push them to figure out what they do. There could be an extra flipper somewhere on the playfield, usually up top, or a button could activate a special feature. Your job from here is fairly straightforward. Maintain control of the ball, shoot for things, and don't let the ball drain for as long as possible. The basic rule of thumb for ball control is to use one flipper at a time. So no wildly punching flipper buttons in a panic whenever the ball gets near the out hole. That usually won't help. No, you want to be smooth and in control. So try this next time you play. As the ball approaches a flipper, catch it with the flipper and hold it. Excellent. When in doubt, shoot for the flashing things. Ramps that are lit up, spot targets, drop targets, lanes that are lit, and of course, aim for those big shiny toys. Pick your target, aim, and shoot. Repeat until you've played all your balls. Did you earn a high score? Congratulations! Be sure to enter your initials using the flipper buttons to scroll through the alphabet, and the start button to input your selection. If you didn't get a high score, that's okay too. In the end, you're really just playing against yourself. Just you and the game. Remember your personal best scores by taking a picture of it or writing them down. You'll know when you're getting better when you see your score improve every time you play. There are tons of great game-specific tutorials on the internet, so if you're chasing that high score, master your game's rules. Or just have fun and not worry about the score at all. Either way, happy flipping. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. Now and then, the pinball is gonna get stuck. So what do? Well, first your game may have a ball search mode and dislodge the ball itself. If that doesn't work, you can try giving the machine a gentle nudge, which is risky because you could set off the tilt mechanism and end your game. But sometimes you won't have a choice. If the ball is really stuck, you may need to get serious, remove the glass, and free the ball yourself. That's pinball for you. Good luck. Want more pinball in your life? You are not alone. There's a huge pinball community out there that you can connect with. Check online at the many pinball events around the world, join pinball forums, visit local arcades, or give us a call if you ever need help navigating through this awesome hobby. This video has been made possible by Marco Pinball, your one-stop everything pinball shop. Visit us online at marcopinball.com for all your pinball needs. Until next time, happy flipping. In the last video, we covered the basics of playing pinball, which were to maintain control of the ball, shoot for things, and don't let the ball drain for as long as possible. Dive a little deeper into each of those areas, and you'll be surprised on how quickly you can level up your skills. Now that you know how to catch and hold the ball, take time to practice your aim. The better you aim, the more control you have over the ball. Here's how it works. The ball travel direction depends on where and when it hits the flipper. So if you're holding the ball with the left flipper,
We're good? Okay. I am here with Phil Grimaldi from Space City Open, Space City Pinball, local Houston tournament guy. He basically helped run the tournaments that were going on this weekend here at Houston Arcade Expo. How did that go? How are you feeling?
I am exhausted.
Yes.
But I'm very proud. It went great. I mean, the tournament went really smooth. Everybody had a blast, which is the most important part.
Of course.
When we do our tournaments, we are like our priority. We want to have a good competitive environment, but we want everybody to have fun.
Very important.
And so everybody had a blast. We had a good competition. And everybody walked away with smiles on. That's all I could. That's all I could ask for.
That's very much the vibe that I got from this show and meeting everybody, even from Austin and San Antonio and Houston. Is everyone is really so community driven. Like you guys are so welcoming, and it's been a really wonderful experience to meet like all of y'all and seeing how you're just so embracing and like you said, it's like fun is really important. So you were also streaming, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you streamed the main tournament and the women's final.
Correct. We streamed it this year on. We usually do it on Space City Pinball, our Twitch channel. This year, I passed the baton over to my good friend Robert Byers of Top Rope Pinball.
Yep.
So we streamed using my equipment on his channel.
Okay.
And he managed all of the moving of cameras and stuff.
Sure.
I learned last year that I cannot run a tournament and stream at the same time. So
that sounds like it would be a logistical cluster, you know.
And as you say, we're community driven, so if we can have somebody else pick up the
yeah. You have a pretty great streaming rig too. Did you build that yourself?
I did. The rig I designed the rig out of 80/20 aluminum.
Okay.
And you know, there's another great streaming community online that kind of helps out, like what's the best equipment to use and things like that. But yeah, a couple years ago I built the rig and it's been rock solid.
That's great. That's great. I want to build one myself now. I sat in on Bex and Jordan's seminar about streaming, and I got like, yeah, I want to do that too. I do not want to run tournaments and stream, but it's another story.
It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding if you like doing that kind of thing.
Absolutely, and people appreciate it for sure. Yeah. Something else that's really awesome is, so you're wearing a t-shirt. This is Pinbot, right?
Yes.
It's great. Space City has got some of the best flyers. I think we talked to Elizabeth a little bit about that and your collaboration with like Blake and how Blake has helped you guys out a lot. And like you said, like it's so community driven. That's, I'm sure, a part of, you know, where you get your art from, right?
Right. We have several talented people in the community that help us out, Blake among them. Elizabeth Dronet does some of the flyers. I've done a few of them myself. Steven Silver. This particular artwork we outsourced out, but we do a lot of work on kind of building a brand and an ambience for our league.
Sure.
And this retro sci-fi vibe. And it honestly helps with that community because people are, you know, build identity around us. They're proud of being part of that community, and there's something physical to kind of represent that.
Absolutely, yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your custom pinball machine that you have, because you have a very special, it's a custom piece that was made for explicitly your wedding. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, tell us
for
about
one day, I built a pinball machine for, well, now it's forever, but right, so our wedding was originally scheduled to be in early 2020.
Okay.
That obviously had to be postponed because of COVID, and it got pushed back, and during that time I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do something with my all this free time that I have. I can't play in tournaments, and so I concocted this crazy idea to re-theme a pinball machine after myself and my wife Alina, and spent the better part of the pandemic building that machine. And you know what? It went right down to the wire. I finished it about a week ahead of the wedding. It was at the wedding. It was a huge hit. Everybody was surprised by it. It was kind of just like out of the blue. And everybody that's played it this weekend said they love it. And
I haven't had a chance yet. I'll probably do it afterwards. But you also have your pets on there. I believe Blake did the art, helped with the art for that as well. Yeah.
Blake helped with the artwork on that.
What was the retheme?
It was originally a Gorgar.
Okay.
And then I had the idea to do this, I don't know, some kind of weird. I didn't want to just do it kind of like cheesy love story with my wife, so we had this like whole like post-apocalyptic Houston with robots invading, and we're trying to battle the robots, and it doesn't make any sense. But like, I kind of wanted to capture that vibe of like weird 70s, 80s pinball themes that like, I don't know, they kind of come out of left field. They don't really make any sense. There's hurricanes in there, whatever. But so I think we did a good job with that.
That's great. That's really cool. All right, well, are you enjoying the show? I know you're tired.
Yeah, I'm tired, but this is the best. This is my favorite show, and I'm not just saying that because this is my hometown show. Yeah. I've been to a lot of shows. This one is very special. I agree. I've had a blast.
Yeah, it's lots of fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Phil. It was really a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
I've been drinking up these.
Oh, that's smart. We're good. Okay, we're good. Hello. I'm here for our last interview of the day, last interview of the show, and who better to do it with but Keith Christensen, the showrunner of the Houston Arcade and Pinball Expo. How are you, Keith?
I am doing well. Yourself?
I'm great, surprisingly, considering I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, we had the Yacht Rock party last night.
Yep.
And we had captain's hats and legs.
Yep.
We had a conga line of about, I don't know, 100 people.
Yeah, I was involved in that as well.
Yeah. And we did some dancing, and we had a limbo contest.
That's right. I was in that for like 2 seconds, and then my body said, nope, I can't go there, though.
I was cheating the whole time.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's so fun. It's still all good fun. So, you've enjoyed the show?
Yes.
Yeah, lots of hard work?
Yes, it is strange about all the work you have to do to get this to happen, all the trust and things that got to come out and to make something like this happen, and then for it to sneak upon you, and then bam, it's there.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's Sunday and it's done.
Right. Like a flash. And you've got a great team. They've been helping you out all weekend, running around.
Oh yeah.
Making things a little bit easier for you.
Oh yeah.
Great DJ booth. Everyone's been taking turns. It's been a really great experience for me, and I think for us and Marco as well.
And what I think the spirit of the show is, kind of like people want to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like, darn it, get over here, and like, It's like people want to do it because everybody feels involved. It's like a family.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great. How long have you been doing the show for?
This will be our 19th show, but our 20th year because we had to skip 2020 because of COVID.
Of course. Wow, I didn't realize it was that long. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so great. I like that you describe it as kind of a punk rock show. It's got a very kind of down to earth, very. You just want people to have fun, and I think that's really appreciated.
Yeah, and we have lots of vendors, and they add to the variety of the show, and they sell things. It's very marketable thing, but in a non-marketable way.
Sure, yeah.
Because everybody's kind of invested in the show, even the people. Because I am a firm believer, without those guys, the people paying for the tickets, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
And even like the exhibitors, we treat them like a guest, but they get access to the green room.
Sure.
They get the same perks as everybody else because they're a part of this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. You had some great bands as well. You had the Harp Twins, Atari Matt, which was a really awesome show.
He does everything on an Atari 2600. So everything's 8-bit, and he's got his own rig. He's wired up, and it's all.
And the 2 TVs playing like flat feedback is what I call it. It was awesome. It was a great experience, lots of fun. So
yeah. And we also had JG and the Robots.
That's right.
So that band was a 80s touring band called T42 from Texas.
Yep.
Like a hidden gem. Like you never knew they existed in pop music, but they toured with like Information Society and Gary Newman, all this stuff like that in the day. And they came here, and I think it was awesome. They did such a good job.
Yeah, lots of Gary Newman vibes from that. I remember listening to it. My dad would like this a lot. I mean, I like it, but it was really, really good fun. So.
And then Scott Denise.
Oh yeah, Scott.
Can't forget Scott.
Where's out?
Scott, wherever you are.
Scott, I think he went home. But okay, well, looking forward to next year.
Oh wait, Radio Cold.
What?
Radio Cold.
What's that?
The last band.
Oh, the last band, Radio Cold. Yeah, he's.
One last thing about that, Radio Cold played, and they were members of the audience were coming up and jamming with them all night long.
That's awesome.
So anyway.
That's so good. All right, Keith, thank you so much for having us. Thank
You're
you
very
for
welcome.
Running this show. Like I said, next year it'll be good to see you. Will we see you at TPF?
I will be at TPF.
Heck yeah, let's hang out.
Bring some games, or I'll buy a Stern or whatever, if something's good's out. But
right on.
Let's go.
Yeah, nice. All right. Thank you so much.
Um, Desktop audio. Oh, that's weird. All right. Can y'all hear me? All right. Well, I think we're good. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this weekend at Houston Arcade and Pinball Expo. It's definitely one of our favorite shows. It's coined as the party show of the year. And that's because there are live bands and DJs playing all weekend long. There is amazing activities there. I won't spoil them all, but you need to get your tickets for next year. It's going to be next November around this same time frame. And man, if the Houston and greater Texas pinball community don't have the best hospitality ever, I don't know. They are great people to be with. Our Marco team, Steve, Crystal, Kyle, Midge, and Mike Vinicor from Stern Pinball also did an amazing job. The booth looks beautiful. Not as good as Game Preserve's booth right up there. I saw pictures of them. Once I saw it on that screen, I was like, hey, Sarah, take pictures. Whose booth is that? And then I saw it was the Game Preserves. And they're absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see their booth again, probably at Texas Pinball Festival. And now we have a booth wars going on. So ours is going to be better next year. It's always all in fun and games. And yeah. Oh, thanks, Carrie Hardy. It's always a pleasure to have you join us at the end of the stream. Anyways, I'm going to let the teams sign off. They're going to wrap up and head home back to South Carolina. We, as Marco Pinball, are done traveling to shows this weekend as a team. You might see some of us wandering around at Free Play Florida, potentially. Pintastic is coming up next weekend, too. There are still pinball shows to visit and attend for the rest of this year. My next show, I will be at Indisc. It Never Drains in Southern California, in the beautiful Riverside, California. And I am excited to help document that tournament. And of course, Marco will be sponsoring there too. And yeah, then our next big show after that is Texas Pinball Festival. We are proud sponsors of the Twippy Award shows, and I will be hosting the Twippies with my big brother, Jackie D, Jack Danger from Dead Flip. It's our first time doing the award show as us as hosts live. I know for a fact we're not going to top the performance of Zach Minnie and Greg Bone from Straight Down the Middle. They are awesome live. We did 2 years of digital virtual versions, but we will be live this time. So wish us luck on that. And it'll help us calm our nerves when we see all your beautiful smiling faces out in the audience. So make sure you get your tickets to Texas Pinball Festival as well. Oh, look at them. They're taking a picture. This is my favorite shot, just like seeing what is happening at the show. Amazing. So thank you, Joystick Games, for partnering with us. Thank you, Stern Pinball, for also partnering with us and bringing all these Insider Connected games. If you haven't signed up to Insider Connected yet, what are you waiting for? It's so awesome. Collect your achievement and badges. And let's all help pinball grow together. Share the love of pinball with everyone you know. Let them fall in love with it like we all passionately have done. And yes, keep on flipping, everybody. We're signing off. See you next time. Oh my gosh. Look at Kyle in this bottom corner wearing his Yacht Club hat. That guy living the dream. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will